if I can get up.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. May we have roll call?
Lois Tiley,
Present.
Diane Dennis,
Here.
Christine Newman,
Here.
Richard Horner,
Present.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Kathy Harris, absent, and Sarah Tiley, absent.
Agenda all set as it is, or is there a change or anything? Nothing? Do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Support? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Any public announcements or public comments?
Just here, new to St. Charles, and I thought I'd just start getting a little more involved, that's
Okay.
all.
This is Mr. Huffa.
Well, welcome.
Am I right?
Yes.
I won't forget that. He was telling us where his uncle was buried.
Oh, no.
Not quite.
No, I wish I knew. $43 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame you much there.
Okay, we'll move on. Spicer report. Do we have a representative here?
Good evening.
Hey,
Yeah, I almost
Don.
ran him over.
That was close.
It was close.
You have a copy of my monthly report. Couple things of note, the water main project design is moving forward. We're looking in pretty good shape on that. Plan on doing some field work in the next week or so, depending on weather, and really kind of digging into the Bell Avenue, design that area. There's a lot of utilities out there, and we're trying to figure out where best to put the water main along Bell. So, imagine that, huh?
Yeah, good luck.
The drinking water asset management plan is also moving forward. Kayla is gonna be in town tomorrow. She's got about 20 more, residences to pick up on the randomized list of, water services, that we wanna get. So she's gonna be in town, locating those water services, taking pictures, and getting ready to put our bidding document out for the hydro excavation services. We're hoping to get that out in January. So, we're actually gonna try to package that with a couple other communities in the area and try to get kind of the market, kind of get some economy of scale if we can. So there's several communities doing these, and we wanna try to get the early bids and get good bids.
Okay.
The next thing I have is this nice little packet I handed you. The council asked me to report on your utilities. Last month, we talked about the water distribution system. This month, we're gonna talk about the sanitary sewer system. I'm gonna go through this packet quickly because you can read it, later at your leisure. Makes for good bedtime reading. So, little bit of history, 1960s, your sanitary sewer system was originally developed. Your sanitary sewer system, contains all the sewer pipes within the town, the manholes. There are 3 lift stations, one at the school complex, your main one over on Maple Street that pumps everything from the south up to the lagoons, and then there's a 3rd pump station over on Entrepreneur Drive. Those 3 stations, the 2 ones, the main one and the one over on Walnut by the schools, those are older, from about the late 60s to early 70s, so they're approaching 50 years old. The main lift station was slated as a part of the SAW grant, as part of that asset management plan for a major rehab or replacement. So that's one of the one of the top things on the capital improvements is, replacing that pump station. The SAW grant that we got back in 2016 was for an asset management plan. In that, we did a inventory and condition assessment. We actually hired a company to televise, and they got through about 3/4 of the sanitary sewer system and televised and did condition assessments on the pipes. There were some areas that were slated for replacement in the future. Sunview Drive was the worst in town. There were several other areas that had kind of point spot areas that needed to be addressed and fixed. As a part of the SAW grant, there were some areas that were fixed. We did cured in place liners at a couple spots, up by Sunview. There was 2 spots where we put in cured in place liners because there were pipes that were failing underneath, M52. The next page just kind of talks about the makeup of your sanitary sewer system and the pipes. You have about 70,000 feet of pipe in town. Most of that pipe is vitrified clay, which is a very good hardy material that has been around forever. However, with that pipe, the joints tend to leak over time and they tend to separate a little bit. So some of the things that we recommended as a part of that asset management plan was a cured in place lining program. You know, a comprehensive one where we take little bites, and over the course of several years, we try to get most of that vitrified clay lined. And that's basically a new pipe within a pipe. And that would extend the life of those, you know, by about 50 years. And the typical lifespan of a pipe is about 50 years. So, a lot of your system was built in the 1960s, so it's reached that lifespan. However, the condition we found to be pretty darn good over most of the system, other than those few spots that we found. The overall condition of the system is in pretty good shape. So with investment in some lining, it's gonna just extend the life of it even longer, so,
Can I ask you,
yes,
back in 67 when we did the sewer thing,
yes.
wasn't it all done at one time except for Walnut Street?
I believe most of the community was done at the same time, and if you look at, that table D on the bottom, you can see that about 60,000 feet was done as a part of that project. I believe
Okay.
the lagoons, the main lift station, and everything except for the pump station over by Walnut, I think that came a few years later.
Okay, so that would explain the different kinds of pipe that were used?
Yes, that would explain the different kinds. The original system was probably all vitrified clay.
Yep,
And then over time, the RCP is reinforced concrete pipe. There's a little bit of that in your system. That's just they thought that was gonna be a replacement for vitrified clay, and it's really not a very good sewer pipe.
okay,
And then PVC is what most people are using now, is the plastic pipe. So yes, you were right. Most of the system was built at the same time.
Right.
In the 60s.
so it's gonna break at the same time.
It's gonna break at the same time, yes. Yep.
Oh, common sense.
This map that I included just shows the materials, different colors, different materials. As you can see, most of it's vitrified clay.
Let me see. Where is that? Can you read that? I don't know, I'm on the end of, is that Walnut Street, where all the blue is?
Where all the blue is, oh
Spruce Street.
Right there.
It's Spruce Street.
yeah, that's Spruce.
Okay, so that's the extension out.
Yep, that's the PVC that was done probably in the 80s or 90s.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Up over the hill and went
Yep.
out.
Yep. Yeah, you can see out toward the edges of the system, you see some of the other, you know, as things extended
Yeah.
farther out, some different materials were used.
Oh, and this is the guy that annexed in last, okay.
The next sheets I have, are the executive summary from the asset management plan report. It describes, you know, what we did as a part of that asset management grant, the inventory and condition assessment, the level of service documentation, the risk analysis we performed, and the rate study that was performed. Your level of service, similar to the water, the council chose a level of service statement that says, the Village of St. Charles strives to develop a financially stable, high-performing wastewater collection, pumping, and treatment service that addresses the customer's wants and needs and upholds the local, state, and federal regulatory requirements at a minimum cost to our customers. So that is your mission statement for the wastewater system. And then also, we did do a rate study looking at rates. We did a little exercise looking at sewer rates, the level of service, and then what capital improvements were needed to be done to get to that level of service. We did several iterations of that. Looking at a high level of service, do we replace the entire system at a cost of $30 million? Or do we, you know, do some small replacements and then some lining? You know, so we looked at a lot of different options to come up with the capital improvement plan that met your goals of a good system at low cost to your customers. This next holdout sheet is the capital improvement plan that came out of this study. And again, for improvements, there was Sunview Drive, Saginaw Street, Bell Avenue. Saginaw Street and Bell Avenue are kind of like point repairs. And then we have kind of two generic items included. One is manhole repairs that really can be done with the DPW over time, and a lot of that was, you know, raising covers up to grade, recentering them, replacing the covers just to gain access to the system a little better. And the other was a cured in place liner program that we wanted to budget for. And I think what we had decided on was about $50,000 a year was our goal to set aside as a part of the new rate structure. I think we had originally proposed $175,000 a year, and as a part of our exercises, decided, you know what, that's just too much for the customers, and so let's scale that back, but still do something that we can handle over time. And we haven't done any lining projects over the last couple of years, but we should be, you know, collecting some cash. We should be getting a fund balance that we could be doing a project, you know, in the next couple of years, maybe a couple $100,000 project. So,
Where would you recommend doing that with the information that we will be replacing or going after the 2.5 million to kind of?
yep. Well, the first thing I would do would be to look at where we're doing the water main improvements and see if there's any streets on the water main improvement streets that could also be lined
Okay.
similarly. So I would try to focus on those, or look at some of the, like the Saginaw Street or the Bell Avenue that are on the list, and I would probably focus on those first.
Okay.
Pump stations, all three pump stations do need work over time. Nothing was critical. The main lift station is probably the most critical one. It's old, it's 50 years old. It's got original equipment in it, original electrical. It needs to be upgraded and or replaced.
What do those cost to replace?
Replacements, probably at least $500,000.
Anybody says
If
that.
not more, depending on exactly what we need to do, how land is, all that. If we can use any of the old station. If it's a rehab, you know, 300,000 to 500,000, you know, that would be replacing the pumps, the piping, the electrical, all that. If the existing wet well and dry well is adequate. Right now, that station, I believe that station's a can station, is it not, right? Which means that there's a dry pit, that the pumps are all underground in a dry pit that the DPW guys have to access. and then there's a separate wet well where all the sewage comes in, then gets pumped to the lagoons. We would want to try to convert that to a submersible type station, so the DPW guys do not have to do a confined space entry and go down into that dry pit. So that would be the intent. If we could do a rehab and maybe repurpose the existing wet well, it would be a lesser cost than having to dig a 30-foot deep
And a little
hole.
safer too,
So,
a little safer for the guys
a little
too.
safer too, yep.
In my mind, that's the most critical piece of infrastructure you have in the whole sanitary sewer.
Agreed.
Yeah,
If something happens to that, we're
Yep,
down.
it
Yeah.
pumps the wastewater from the south side of town across the river up
Yeah.
to the lagoons. So it handles a large majority of the,
yeah, this one mostly takes Walnut Street and gets it over the hill.
correct,
Yeah, that lift station takes everything but Entrepreneur Drive.
yep.
But no mops.
Not lately, no. Yeah, it doesn't like those.
Well, I
Um,
just looked at the balance sheet and sewer's doing okay.
It should be,
It is.
Like John
Is
said.
that part of the rate thing that we changed?
yes.
So we
Is
haven't
this-
done any of the.
How come it hasn't helped water?
And
Great question. Great question.
other items, out at the lagoons, eventually we're gonna have to do some major projects out at the lagoons. There's a lot of the side slopes are sloughing off, there's a lot of valves that are broken, that are missing, that aren't working well. The DPW guys have done a tremendous job keeping that lagoon working, functional, it's functioning great. Talking with Don, he sees that as less critical as, say, the lift station or some of these other things. But eventually, we're gonna have to be doing some work out at the lagoons. It needs some TLC, it's been out there. The new cell was, I think, 1989, and that was the new cell. The rest of them are 50 years
Mhm.
old.
That was the third one, right, that we
Yep.
put in.
Cell 3, the big one.
Mhm.
Yep. So, also with that, I did include sections of the municipal analytics, rate structure review. There's some good information in there. We did change the format of the sewer rates and also recommended, I believe it was 10% rate increases per year after the initial increase. That's to help pay for some of these capital improvements. We did have, in the rate study in 2023, a large bond sale to do some of these improvements. So that is something that is scheduled. We're not ready to do anything yet. We don't have anything under design, but it is something that we should be talking about as a part of the budget process. And, for the next few years, looking at doing a project, and I would say it would probably be the main lift station, some lining, and maybe a couple things out at the lagoons. So that would be a nice project to package together.
That's on top of the water one that we're
That's on
gonna-
top of the water one. Yep. Yep. And then finally in this packet, I have some really neat pictures for you.
Yeah,
And they show broken pipes, that have been repaired, but they show, what they looked like before and why they needed to be repaired. The pipes are cracked, they're broken. This, the one out on, Bell Road was a 10-inch vitrified clay that cracked and broke, and Eric Construction fixed that. You show the M52 near Parkway, which was broken and offset, and that's the one that we repaired and lined as a part of the SAW grant project. And then you can actually see an after picture of what it looks like on the final page, what it looks like after it's been lined, and it looks like a brand new pipe.
yes.
So I went over that quickly, and I went over it quickly on purpose to not take all of your time, but I'd be happy to answer questions or have any discussion if you like. Next month, We'll talk about stormwater drainage. So we'll have a small presentation on your stormwater system and, go from there.
And that'll be free.
That'll be not much because there's no rate structure for storm sewer and we're really not doing a whole lot.
That's kind of what yeah. That's what we decided, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. So, no questions? Thank you. I am gonna stick around for the water rate discussion.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to the council minutes from the last meeting, from November 10th. Does anybody have any questions on that report, or that, on the minutes? Gee, bad day.
You do it.
Apparently not. Do I hear a motion to approve and,
I make a
Accept and
motion, we
approve.
approve the minutes of November 10th, 2021.
support?
I'll
Support.
support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to commission and committee reports, you have the Downtown Development Authority minutes from December 3rd. Anyone have any questions on those?
I wondered about the planning commission, are they getting anywhere near finished?
40%.
40%?
We're not to the meat and potatoes yet.
Any further questions? No questions on the DDA?
Oh,
Go ahead.
the kiosk downtown, it just says it's coming undone. Are we gonna rebuild it or just,
We're gonna replace some of the bad plywood and restain it.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, the main structure's solid, but all the plywood and the lattice and stuff is,
at the top,
not so much the top, on the sides.
on the sides?
The top, I think is, we restain that, that'll be fine, but it's,
Okay.
I think some kids have punched some holes in the west side there that.
Looks cute right now with the Christmas tree under it.
It does
But,
look
but
very
if you
good.
look real close, you can see it has.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
that.
Sometimes see something you don't want.
Oh, yeah.
If there's no further discussion or questions on those two meetings, do I hear a motion to accept and file?
I make a motion, we accept and file the planning commission and DDA reports.
Support?
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to commission, their communications. You've got your review magazine. I'm sure everybody read that all the way through.
There is that
Good art.
thing there that you should go to though.
Yeah. And there's a good article about lead and copper lines in there as well.
Is there? Yeah, I guess I didn't quite read the whole thing.
No discussion on the review magazine. Let's move on to payment of claims. Any questions? If not,
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of claims in the amount of $114,418.46.
I'll support.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I just wondered, do you ever keep track of how many dollars you've spent?
No.
All the time.
I can tell you it's less than last month and we paved the road.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's really nice too.
But it's spent wisely.
That I can
so
tell you, yeah.
heck of a
It's
job.
spent very wisely.
Yes,
Yeah.
We don't mind spending
But when
well.
it's,
no.
yeah, for a good reason.
Moving on to new business. We have a topic here, medical marijuana, primary caregiver operation zoning ordinance amendment 21-1.
Scott's not here tonight?
He's very sick and I told him to stay away
Okay.
and stay away tomorrow. Scott, I know you can hear me.
Yeah, I can. I'm here. I can just barely hear you.
Okay, well, this is the medical marijuana primary caregiver operations. We hosted a public meeting or hearing on this at the planning commission. They approved this moving forward. Scott, you mentioned that, St. Charles Township is also working to approve this, as well as a few others. And if you just wanna give a little more background on the intent, that would be wonderful, if you can talk.
Okay, the intent is more or less to give the village and some of the surrounding townships a little backbone in enforcement, and this came about because the state of Michigan never gave anyone the opportunity to either opt in or opt out. This was just shoved down our throats with no ability for the opting in or opting out. So this gives us background or a little backbone so that we can control where it can and can't happen within the village limits. If you look on page 2 of the document, actually it'd be page, well, they're all number 3, so it would be the back of the first page under item C.
Mine's number 2.
Prior to establishing a primary caregiver operation under this section, a permit shall be obtained from the Village of St. Charles Planning Commission. And then under the next item, D, primary caregiver operation shall only be allowed on property zone B2 commercial intensive or M industrial light, subjective to the following requirements. And then it goes through a series of requirements that they have to meet in order to get approval. This gives us the backbone we need to be able to prevent it from being where we don't want it, next to schools, next to parks.
Homes.
And it gives us the ability to enforce it if someone starts one up without going through the planning commission to do so. If we don't have this in place, we have to rely on the state of Michigan, and basically the state police have told most of the jurisdictions that they don't care. They don't have the time or the manpower to be enforcing the act, so we have to take it under our own power to do so. So that's what this is all about.
Thank you, Scott.
Any questions of Scott? He's still alive?
This is strictly medicinal?
Correct.
Caregiver operation.
Okay, not for personal use or?
Not recreational.
Not recreational. There are, well, so many like caregiver licenses. and everything.
Okay. You can probably tell him he can go back to bed now.
I'll mute him.
'Cause he sounds bad.
Yeah, he does.
No, you said it went through the planning commission and that's who held the public hearing.
Correct.
Um,
People
and
did.
did they all vote for it?
Correct, yes. And, 2 village residents, came to speak on behalf of this in favor of it.
Okay. Was Diana there?
Yes.
Coots? Okay.
The only one that wasn't there was Chairman Paulus, but it was the week of opening deer
Okay.
season, so.
And then on the enforcement of it, I see it could be the building inspector or any other representative designated by the village council. Do you think that'll be a big, real big job, or how
No.
much time?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think, Scott will be able to handle it with his normal hours,
okay.
or with in conjunction with Julie giving him a heads up, or Don or somebody.
And if they set a precedence, then that will alleviate, you know, if that's set in play, then it'll alleviate too much, hopefully, you know, prior to, they're gonna be aware that we've gotta do some stuff in order to do that. So hopefully just that precedence being set will also reduce the need for enforcement.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not, we need, have a motion. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion, we adopt ordinance number, is that a
21.1.
21.1, medical marijuana primary caregiver operations zoning ordinance amendment.
Support? Support. Roll call?
Lois Tiley,
Yes.
Diane Dennis,
Yes,
Christine Newman,
Yes.
Richard Horner,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris, absent, and Sarah Tiley, absent.
Motion carried. Is that date right on that certification?
I will go in and adjust that.
I just, so long as we do before we sign it.
Yes, yep. And then I have to publish it in the newspaper, so it'll be updated.
Okay. Let's move on to the DPW barn cleaner.
Well, yeah, so every Monday this place is cleaned, by Sue, and, just wondering out at the garage if maybe we open up applications to clean their break room and their toilets. I'm not thinking more than, you know, $2,600 a year, for an hour or two of work. But,
Not the office, just the break
well,
room?
that'll be up to Don's discretion, I believe, you know, some people don't like their things
You don't want
moved
your
or
Want your
touched,
office
but-
touched?
You don't want
but-
your floors washed once in a while? Or do you do it?
We do it occasionally.
How occasionally would that be?
How often do you pay your water bill? Quarterly. No, I kid.
Only on really muddy days?
It's difficult to keep clean, let's put it that way.
I've noticed, yes.
Would you like it on a routine basis?
It wouldn't hurt, but
Okay.
some people see it as more of an issue.
I mean, we have to go by your input
It
because,
wouldn't hurt, honestly. Right now, we clean the break room and toilets ourselves. I mean, we're four guys.
Yes.
That's all I'll say about that.
I haven't got invited into that place since it's been built. That's two different terms.
Take cookies, they'll let you in.
They're not, they're, well, it depends, if the police are out there, you gotta take donuts.
Yeah, how often, are you thinking like weekly?
I was thinking bi-weekly,
Bi-weekly?
but I budgeted for weekly, but sounds like you're thinking maybe bi-weekly.
We'll leave it up to your discretion.
Oh, okay.
Is that twice a week or twice a month?
Well, I think it'd be nice to have the toilets cleaned at least once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys can't do
they
it.
are men.
That's kind of my, there's 400 grown men, you guys, so you guys, it's just the bathrooms and what, the break room?
Yeah,
You guys can clean that.
they do that, it's just the ladies' room needs a little TLC every now and again.
Is there a lot of ladies' room? Is there a lot of ladies in there?
We go out there occasionally,
Yeah.
We do.
Marguerite and.
We do have
Wendy.
some professional guests occasionally too, that are females.
I would think you guys could clean, that's just my take, is that you guys could clean it. It's, I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
I just think, I mean, we could clean here too, technically.
I agree with that too. I think honestly, probably the Goodrich building would be the only one that really probably need to be cleaned. I mean, I could see Jenny and Marguerite handling this and the police handling the police station, really honestly.
Good luck at home, Mike.
I clean the house,
I know.
I cook.
I understand.
I don't think they should have to clean this building.
Who?
The secretaries.
Then they don't have to.
I bet,
I'm just saying
You're super
it, I don't
busy
think it's that big
enough.
Yeah.
of a deal to clean like a break room and a couple bathrooms out at the barn. That like hire
who's-
somebody out to do it is what I'm saying.
who's been doing it, Don? Do you take
We
turns?
do.
We do it.
Take turns, yeah.
Yeah. 1 month, somebody does it, and then 6 months later, somebody else does it.
Oh, twice a year.
It's probably a little more often than that.
Okay,
If we know we have guests coming, we will, especially clean the ladies' room.
well, we could do that too, if you know you got guests coming, you gotta clean.
I think it's totally up to you. We've been doing what we've been doing and
I personally think the guy's got enough to do. Have a woman come in twice a month to clean,
Doesn't have to be a woman.
Oh.
it can
or
be
a man, whomever, come in a couple times a month and clean. I think we could afford to give our guys that much.
Will a couple times a month be effectiveness to like where it's like, okay, you've cleaned it for a month and then the next time the cleaning, it's, I mean, like, I guess that's where I'm thinking like, okay, is that even gonna like be the issue, or you guys should just, because you're there, you can police it yourselves a little better because you're there. And you should be just cleaning it on the regular.
They clean as they can or as necessary, but it's not regular.
I would think.
I'd rather have them
by a
out
month,
doing
twice
something
a
in the
week.
village than cleaning their own
Twice a
toilets.
month?
Twice a month.
I don't see that as a good use of their time.
How long does
Absolutely
it
not.
take to do?
Each toilet, that's why I'm thinking no more, each toilet, each bathroom and the break room, I don't see it being more than an hour. But I think a good hour would, a little cleanliness in the midst of, and no,
So that would be, how much does a person like that charge? I mean, they get like $25 an hour or something like that?
yeah,
So it's
25, 50,
$50 a month?
you can set that, I mean, it's not more than, if we go bi-weekly, it's not more than $1,300 a year.
Yeah. Wait a minute, that's $100. Yeah, that'd be $50 a month, right? $1,300 a year. Yeah,
By the time that
yeah.
these,
I gotta start thinking about it. That's totally good. Yeah.
by the time
52.
that these gentlemen put in on their job and what they put out for us,
Absolutely.
I think we own that a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's not that,
Talk that way.
cost that much.
Well, it's only 200. That's all right.
I'm entitled to my opinion,
Yes,
Just
you
just like you are
are.
entitled to yours.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
So that's just the way I feel.
So why should he try to convince me? I've already made up my
Right.
mind, so he needs to try to convince you.
Right.
Do teachers clean their own bathrooms?
I don't think we can compare a barn,
Okay.
a bathroom, and a break room to an entire school district.
Okay.
And besides, our janitors only dust mop the floors. I'm in charge of everything else.
Gotcha.
That's just my thought.
That's changed.
Like you say, you're entitled to yours too.
Well, I think the guys deserve to have that. I
Is-
mean, it's what, $50 a month?
Is twice a month too less?
Too little?
I think
Too
that would
little
be-
of a
That would
time.
be adequate, I think,
Do you have a little, I know you're busy all the time, but in the winter, does it let up a little bit?
I mean, the floors probably get trashed the most in the winter because you're in and out.
You're bringing in the
That's-
snow and all that kind of stuff. You can't take your boots off
If
the
it-
door like you
If
can
it
your house.
doesn't snow, they have time.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
But
what I
if it
mean, the
snows,
snow plowing
they don't have
lets up.
time.
absolutely
So,
not,
yeah,
because
true.
I'm telling you, I hear them boys down my road. Yeah, I mean, if there's 2 inches of snow, I hear them down my road at 3 o'clock in the
One
morning.
person's level of service and another person's, I guess, would be different, just
Mhm.
like anything else.
Well, I
My
think
okay
you
may
should,
not be Chris's okay.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think-
I'm sure it's not.
Well,
Or they,
Not as far as bathrooms go, no.
I don't mind cleaning that.
Oh, yeah.
my opinion is you should have help with that, but I don't know, about every week, maybe twice a month or, and if that doesn't work out, it could be increased, but just my opinion.
So where we go from here?
Well, does somebody wish to entertain a motion for twice a month? And start out that way and see how it holds up and move on, one way or the other if we find we
Okay.
need more.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we hire someone to clean their barn and their break room, twice a month for the next 6 months, see how it works out.
Is there support for the motion on the floor?
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
One nay?
The only thing I would say is it would have to be during regular business hours.
Correct.
Do you think that's enough time, Don? 2 times a month, or, well, we can, it can be changed.
Technically, you just passed for like the whole barn, cause they said the whole barn, so you got a little extra on there. You said,
An hour ain't gonna work.
No,
I would think
Your
five.
break room, okay, I missed,
okay.
The
Break
the
room
guys
and
are good
restrooms.
about doing.
I understood the intent of your motion.
thank you.
Nobody wants to clean the barn.
I doubt very seriously.
Although they
if you
do
could
clean the barn.
that barn.
You guys probably keep the barn cleaner than you do the restrooms.
probably,
So where are we at here?
We voted.
Okay. And the motion carried. Let's move on to the next item. Wastewater discussion. No.
Oh.
Old fashioned Christmas update. Sorry. Carried.
Just a quick update, obviously Saturday is the event. We are getting anywhere between 300 and 2,000 views on almost every Facebook post, to the point where we created our own. Carrie Levan and Jenny have went out and raised over $1,600. We are at over 24 bikes currently to raffle off.
Great job.
Thank you.
3 scooters, 2 snow tubes. What else am I missing? There's other toys. We have the 97.3 boxes in Frank's and in Tony's
Frank's, yep.
that are, we're gonna check on, make sure those are full tomorrow and see if we can add to that for the children that can't make it home from the hospital over the holiday. We're hoping to add more next year, like food trucks and whatnot. More lights. There has been discussion about the lack of lights on the banners, or the poles. And we found a slight fix, some huge bows. I think they're 17 inches that'll go on the both bridges, and that'd be kind of lit up at night to help people catch the season. The trees are out there beautifully, donated from Charbonneau's.
I think they're all decorated but one.
I think there's 4 last we checked.
I think there's one now.
Just one.
It's right up here.
Right here,
Yep.
right by Dr. Klein's.
Yep. I believe that's it tonight.
Yep, so that's been fun for everybody. I know families like to get together over Thanksgiving and work on that together. We have 17 parade entries. Last year we had 6, and I think the 6th one was probably 10 tractors. So hopefully if the tractors come this year, it might be an hour-long parade, which is a huge ordeal,
Oh,
which is a big deal. But we'll have burn barrels. It's supposed to rain a little bit in the day. I haven't checked the whole day's weather, but we have Santa coming down. He has his own 10x10 tent with a great background that looks like the North Pole, his own chair, and he said he'll take pictures as long as it takes afterwards, so every kid gets to talk to Santa. So 5th annual, and we're trying to make it better every year.
Sounds like it's gonna be real good.
And Lois is lighting the tree to start the ceremonies. We're gonna go over her biography tomorrow so that I can talk about her.
Yeah, so you can get it all.
Yeah, February 1945 is when the story starts.
My parents started that again.
So that's all, but huge endeavor by Jenny and Carrie and going out to businesses and doing the unwanted ask, but everybody's been so generous. You know, $50 here, $150 here, $200 here. It's been pretty remarkable. People really want this to be a thing, so. And I did mention that New Lothrop did have wine tasting at theirs. We might look into that next year.
I think you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pray there's no rain, I have 200 candles to light. So I'm gonna light the walkway up to the gazebo, so
Okay.
he gets to help me and Carrie and whoever else I can wrangle, set up the luminary
still
bags
gotta
and the tea
put some
lights,
bikes
and
together,
he's got
too.
2 bikes he's gotta put, I think after
You have to
tomorrow
put
might be
together?
4.
Yeah, they didn't come assemble so far.
Not all of them are put together, some
So-
of them are
Oh.
She's
easy
putting me to
built, so
work
there's
a
2
little
at our
bit.
garage we gotta put together, and then 1 or 2 that I'm picking up tomorrow said it was easy build too, so I might
Yeah.
have to learn how to put a bike together.
And Jesse is Jesse, I volunteered Jesse to help you with the lighting of the candles.
Thank you.
Put her to work. Don't tell her I said that.
Yeah.
So yep, there's gonna be like 9 little stations, the kids can go through and grab it, I have candy canes, St. Charles Auto Collision, Tess over there put together 250 bags, Ziploc bags with candy, so they can get a bag, and then we're gonna have a candy, and then, candy canes and ornament, coloring book, glow sticks, crayons, stickers, and then Tess is still working to see if she can, get some coupons from, McDonald's and Subway for like a free cookie and a free ice cream cone, so they can kind of walk around, get that, and then go down.
Did Matt
Okay.
I
ever
can't imagine Subway not giving.
get a hold of you before, like, during the tree lighting, or we just
They're
took
gonna
him straight to the parade?
They're gonna do some caroling, like from 5 to 5:30 at the park, and then they're gonna head down to the parade.
Okay.
Sounds great.
It sure does. Real nice.
And the gazebos look wonderful.
Very nice.
Why didn't you go further on that island in front of Frank's? You know, the second island?
Behind the kiosk.
Yeah, behind the kiosk, going that
Are you
way.
talking where the umbrella tree is or further down?
No, the umbrella tree's lit, isn't it?
Yeah,
The next island.
the ground cover.
Yes.
It hasn't been done since I've been back here, so I don't know when that.
Really?
I know they used to do it,
It looks so nice.
but, you know, but that ground cover might not be there that much.
Buried in
We
the
don't
snow.
have anything up on the poles this year.
No,
We've
that's why we're
decided
putting the
not-
red bows on.
That's why the red bows are on their way?
Yes, we all voted not to do that.
Oh, well, yeah.
It was a 3-year contract.
I guess I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
paying
what I thought was a
attention.
3-year contract, and they done such a poor job that we
They
decided against
they
it.
kept changing what they would bring each year, and then the price never changed. So I brought the payout, the vendor activity. So we paid $36,514 years, or $14 in 8 years.
In 8
Which,
years,
you know, when you break it down, it's $5,640 a year,
a
but,
year
um,
for that.
so I was looking for somebody more local and just the lights. Those lights individually sell for about $600 to $1,000. So we're not gonna invest in our own, because
Well,
if
then
they
you have to have a place to put them.
put them,
We
store
don't.
them, they break down, it's your problem to fix, the light goes out, so we're gonna, I might have to eat crow and reach back out to Wendy and say, hey, we're back. This is what we're looking for, can you help us?
You know, and I honestly thought we decided not to do any downtown because the trees were sufficient with the lights.
And that's what we decided.
Oh, I don't
But we
remember.
didn't decide,
We were gonna go wreaths
we
and
didn't
bows.
renew a contract with anybody to go out both ways
Correct,
on the poles that we have electricity on.
correct.
I think the trees are enough.
So too.
I
I
don't
think they
know,
look
I
great.
like them coming in and out of town.
I do too. I miss them. I mean, they
Maybe the
did do
bows
a
will
good
look
job. Yeah,
Maybe the
yeah.
bows will
Bows
get
would
nice
be
on the
very
bridges.
classic.
I've heard
Very
3
classic.
village residents that want them back, 1 that does not, and 2 township residents that would like them back.
Well, I've
Well,
heard from a
yeah.
few people that they
Yeah.
missed what was up there, but, I mean, not great number.
They're not really, they're attacking you in the grocery store and saying, why are there no lights out there? And so you tell them,
Well,
because the
that's-
contract ran out. and
Well, I
we-
told, that's, I
Blame
told them, and I
me.
said, and they
Look
were doing
Blame me.
a bad job.
They did.
Everybody was
they
complaining
were
about the
dated.
lights.
They were
were-
very
they were
dated, they were the
dated.
stuff we were when we were kids, I mean.
Oh, just tell them the price.
Yeah, that's.
That'll scare 'em.
Yeah.
Say-
We were talking today, maybe we'll try to get some electrical out front by the split rail fence in the park and maybe do something on the fence. A couple little bore jobs and get some electric out there, and maybe if we can even do something on the two bridges, you know, those.
Well, I think the bows on the bridges will be
I
good.
think that
Yeah,
looked nice,
yeah, that'll
very
look
nice.
nice.
And the
yeah.
company guys that I talked to said, you know, wait till after the new year, our prices are slashed by 25%, and I said, we'll talk then. These bowls will do for now.
Great idea.
And other than the bridges, if you look at the utility poles, it's, I don't know if there's any rhyme or rhythm really, if you really get looking.
There isn't, cause sometimes you can go 2 or 3 poles and there's nothing, and then all of a sudden there's 2, and then you
Yeah.
go a
Right,
little bit
yeah.
longer. But the bridge is pretty, and those lights are
When it's lit up,
nice,
it's very nice, yes.
and I think that's why I
I'd like to
called
see
Hart
us
today, I thought that
concentrate
would
more
look
on those
nice.
few areas. Concentrate on the bridges and maybe the park a little more, I think we can, with not a lot of investment, we
Mhm.
can do some good. That's my opinion, that's.
And I wanna see what it'd be if it was just the zigzag trees on the poles. If we did every other, something, see what would the price be? You know, is it 2,500 like you said it was gonna be? Or are you gonna throw in the 50 wreaths at another 2,500? And then change it and say we're out, we don't have the
Yep.
supply, so this is what you get. Okay. And there was some problem with the trees on the poles with the wreaths and their ribbons and their bows and.
Not all the lights
Congestion.
lit, and they wouldn't stay lit,
Right.
and
The wreaths were too much with the trees, I think.
oh, you don't need anything with those trees, that just stacks those poles right up.
What do you think about our trees, Mr. Hoffa? They look nice?
Yes, they do.
And as a resident, when we get complaints from township residents, they're not contributing to our plan either. Whereas
No, they're not, I mentioned that to the one that, was yelling at me, I said, you wanna move into the village and start paying the taxes, then you've got something to
If
say.
you'd like to donate,
Yeah.
we would take it.
Contribution, you're welcome.
Same person
That's
that
what I
attacked
said,
you
tell
came
him.
here.
Yes, I knew he was, I knew he was going right from me to you. Cause I didn't make him happy.
You did?
Nor do I have to anymore.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I am.
As long as you said it to him. Okay, let's move on to our water rate discussion. John wants to go home.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost that time of year where we said we would kind of review our water rate study that happened in 19 and renew or up the monetary values or monies in January, so we're gonna do it every January. So I figured if we had the discussion now, we could have a resolution next month, should we choose to do so. It is a part of our 5-year plan to raise these rates. As you recall, they were not touched, our rates were not touched in the village for 14 years. I'm not talking about township rates, I'm not talking about city of Saginaw rates. The village of St. Charles did nothing for 14 years. Now we have an unfunded mandate from the state in the lead and copper service line replacement, which we have until 2025, if I recall. We are doing what we can with what we have. We are looking at bonding, we're looking at a $2.5 million project. As we know, we have some outdated service lines underneath. We do still have some wood underneath in our water system, which is just incredible.
That we're using
Not
it?
in service.
Not in service.
No, I was gonna say, we're not using
But
it.
there is wood under there, which is, you know, kind of what the start
It's
of
really
this whole
neat
thing.
though when you find it.
It is, since it's not in service.
It's pretty.
Um,
It is kinda.
I just kinda think it's cool.
We do have 80-year-old cast iron mains in service, so,
Well, if you wanna see wood, there's some out in the,
yeah, we have a jump.
And there's, you know, I sent an article today to everybody this morning, about 8:04, and a news article from Friday, TV from Lansing. This is not uncommon, this is happening everywhere, and this is a big debate throughout the state of Michigan, mostly due to the state unfunded mandate. So it's occurring everywhere, we've talked about it before, our rates are still very comparable to everywhere in the surrounding area.
Oh, much lower than some I've seen advertised lately.
And I try to send those out every time we do this, and I'll send that out in the morning.
Was it Montrose that just upped theirs last month?
There's no one size fits
I
all, and
I was shocked at what they were already charging, let alone what they put it up to.
it makes me feel better.
Yeah. So what's your suggestion?
So my suggestion is to continue on the path of the study from last December with John Kaser, which would increase our water rates. Let's see, inside the village, it would increase $5.48 a month, or $16.44 a quarter. $16.44 a quarter. Outside the village, it would be $17.96 a quarter.
Oh,
Or $5.99.
they're not double anymore.
$5.99 a month.
Okay,
So the minimum bill would be
They actually
$138.
came down,
you did.
formula wise.
Now you made me lose what I was thinking. I know, just a minute. So I see we haven't done, did we spend a whole bunch of money in water this year that I forgot?
Borrowed money, $100,000.
When did the bill get paid on that water, on the project? Was that early this spring? On this payment?
There was a large payment.
For Fulton and Hosmer, Mike, the last
I
payment?
think that would have been it.
Well,
Because we
something-
held off.
Something way back dumped it down and we just haven't been recovering very well. We made one final payment
And then we did
and
an
it knocked it down quite a
interfund
bit.
loan, perhaps,
Yep.
An interfund loan to who?
is that how we paid for the dump? Was it, or that was just for the Fulton and Hosmer, so that was what dumped. it.
Okay, so we have to pay ourselves back for that?
Correct.
That should have been out of the sewer to the water, right?
The sewer's doing healthy, so the sewer, or the water should be about even with the sewer, I think.
Yeah, well, it's
225
like,
versus
it's like
262.
500,000 off.
Yeah, it should be close. Once we pay it back.
Oh, once it's paid back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have, I don't see how we can not do it. You have to get these funds in better shape for all that stuff we're looking at in the future. And the stuff in the future is not something that we can say yes or no to, it's something that we have to do. So, I don't know how else you're gonna pay for it.
We're looking at grants and loans and, you know.
Well, and they'll help, but you're not gonna get the
Nope.
whole thing.
Heavens, no. Nope.
General fund's very healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's, eventually that's where the money's gonna come from, to help out.
It is,
And I think we all know that.
yes.
It's just,
I hope you all know
you,
that.
yeah, you just don't wanna see
It
it
just
dwindle,
sits there
but,
until you have to use it, and then you
Yeah.
have to use it, so.
and this is the way forward, you know, just like that article says, it's negotiating, it's competing, and it's sometimes, you know, tough conversations,
Well-
but it's necessary.
The other fund that looks good is the village street millage fund. I mean, we've got that up to 335,000. That's only been in effect for what, 3 years,
Not very
4
long.
years?
Right before I got here, so
Yeah, we
maybe 4
paid, we
years.
paid for spruce right out of that, that was the fastest they've ever
Yeah.
been paid, they said. Here's
Yeah,
your
so,
check.
so that worked. And that was a raise on their taxes, and everybody's gotten used to it, so.
And a lot of that,
Quite.
those funds will be used as we go through and do some of these projects to,
Yeah,
To
to
go
help
over when
repair
finished.
whatever it is we're doing.
and we have a good relationship with the family-owned TJ Prees, you know, we said we got some projects coming up that we're gonna need you, and like, they were what, about 110,000 less than what
Really?
other people wanted
Wow.
on Fulton and Hosmer, and I think they do a good job.
They did this too, right?
Correct.
So the water increase would be 16,
44.
Now, does that include the 10% from the city of Saginaw?
I don't think that covers it, but I think we budget.
John did
Or was
build.
that
He built in 7 to 10.
John built, Kainsler built in the,
I think it was 7.
he tried to put the city,
With that, so that was
Assume.
16 something.
Right.
I think we
Okay.
assume 7 a year from the city, which they're gonna do that. They have all the power.
Theirs is whatever it is. I just wanna make sure we
Our building.
cover theirs and get more into our system where we need it. So, you know, if the 1644 includes 7%, maybe should be, I don't know, 1721 to pick up the other 3% from the 7 to 10. Or is that going too far? Is that dipping too far?
You know, if I could go back in time, I think we just approve it, the first 5-year increases, all in one shot. Yeah, all in one shot. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Oh, you
Hard,
don't-
it would've been a hard pill to swallow.
Hard pill. You'd be lucky if you walked out the front door alive.
can I give my 2 cents?
Yeah,
As a resident, I pay a water bill too,
yes.
and it's not cheap, I get it. But if you look at what you're paying for water and sewer, people, this is for 3 months, people pay that for a cell phone bill for a month.
Right.
They pay that for a cable bill for a month. You know, this is health and welfare, I mean, I don't like paying it either,
Right.
but if we don't do something, we're just kicking the can down.
Well, I
Right.
agree.
You know.
I agree 100%.
Our water is superior, it's other places. are
We have the
past us.
best water in the state of
Our
Michigan.
water is superior.
If,
Mostly because the intake valve is so well
Right.
protected out of
and
Lake
the
Huron.
intake valve is just like 3 miles south of me at my cottage. And we use the same water. And we pay double
Really,
the water rate that we have here. Already to service $50.
up there?
It's the same water, comes
Yeah.
out of the same pipe.
Yep, same lines.
Same
Right by you.
Yeah, it's right by us.
The way I think that we've seen it done in other places too, you can approve the rates as presented, but then you still look at it every year, but you can adjust it, but you don't have to, but you still look at it every year to know where you're at. That way you don't have to go through this pain every year, I guess.
Well, no, you need to go through the.
No, I mean, but you, well, I mean, you can look at it, but then maybe you don't adjust it, maybe you do, I mean,
Oh, you mean for like the 3% or the whatever?
right, if you stick with the plan and you look at it, you guys look at it as a board and say, we're good, or maybe we can back it up, or, you know. but-
No, I don't think we can back it up because we haven't
Right.
made anything, so. I mean, we haven't really gone much above the 162 in a few months.
Right.
So I don't see it coming in.
And wasn't there one year we let it slide?
We did, we passed it in, what, April or something, we were supposed to hit it again in January, and we didn't do it.
So we lost out on 1 year's revenue, basically.
Okay.
But this was supposed to catch us up by going with this right here,
Okay.
according to John.
So you're gonna have a, resolution, I guess it would be,
Correct.
for next month, and we'll make the rate 1644.
An increase of 1644.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yep.
yes. So we don't do
How is-
anything else
How
tonight?
is the delinquent bills? Are we pretty well caught up, or from the COVID?
Yeah,
People pretty well caught up and brought them up to date.
we do have some payment plans because some people let it go for the whole year.
But I think our very large ones did pay.
Correct.
We had some large, very large ones that did.
They got the stimulus funds and that, they came in the next day.
Yep.
Oh, that's what that was for too.
You know, we don't have, you know.
Just as long as we're not letting them slide.
Okay. And there's nobody we're gonna shut off or anything, or,
No, I mean, really, after that first time that we can enforce it, I think we're pretty much back to normal, but,
okay.
everybody's caught up, if not, I think we're back to a normal cycle now,
We have been the last couple.
yeah.
But there's a few people that just
Yeah.
don't.
You have
pay.
your same people, but like I said, Hart worked with some of the larger ones and got payment plans, and as
Mhm.
long as they honor it.
Some of them were surprised too. Some people had leaks,
Mhm.
but they weren't caught.
I think we ought to go ahead with the resolution for the next meeting.
Yeah, you'll come back to us next.
Yeah. All right, website.
Right prior to getting here, Dennis worked with somebody to kind of really work on our website, and they had to switch, I believe, servers and do a lot of work. There's a lot of redundancy and just doesn't look very up to date. I was hoping to use the same person that he used, Performance PC, I think Shields. But I was looking to kind of make it, so one of the courses I took was websites, government websites. And the gold standard for government websites is the state of Tennessee. So if you ever want to look, state of Tennessee, it's simple, couple banners here, and then whatever, what do you need? So I'd like to kind of emulate their website, make it ours, and I think I can do it for about $1,800, which isn't super significant, but I really want to streamline this so people have questions. Old-fashioned Christmas parade, boom. Water bill payment, boom. And instead of it's here, doesn't look like it's clickable, then you have to scroll down all the way over to the left, and there it is. It helped a lot of people today calling, paying for my mother's water bill. I'm out of town. How do I do this online? And I'd love to be like, okay, just go here, 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 instead of, okay, go here. Okay, you can either click here or scroll down. No. There it is. Yeah, it's just too much, and so I was hoping to move forward with that and really bring us into 2025, really. With the ability that we can edit and make the quick changes, whereas this is a kind of a reformatting, really recreating it.
I agree. Anything you can make easier, make easier.
Yes.
I tried to get to the Secretary of State to find out how to renew a handicap sticker. I finally got in my car and drove down to the office and went in. They were so nice. They gave me the sticker, they gave me the everything, and I walked out. Because I could not find it on the website. Could not find it.
Yeah, and this lady, I was just trying to help her pay her mother's water bill, and it was so many clicks, because then you go to your third-party BSNA payment, and it just needs to be easier. And there's some things we can do to edit it, but we can't.
When was it last revised or updated?
Probably, we've edited it a couple times to
Okay.
try to bring it forward,
Right,
but actually,
So it was 2019 when it was
okay, 'cause I remember
redone.
when you started, and I even went to the website, it's like, wow, this is something from AOL dial-up mode,
Yeah.
kinda like, wow, this
Yeah, I
is
couldn't even get into the, once
interesting.
Deanna was gone, I couldn't even get into the website to like edit anything, so there was,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was a nightmare.
in
This
the
is better
course,
than what we had, but
in the course, I mean, that was, I took was what, 2016, and they said every 12 months your technology's gonna update. Now think about how your phone updates every, what, 3 months?
Oh,
6 months?
Oh, more than that.
So it's one of those things where I'd like to update it
Yeah.
now with the abilities that every 6 months we can kind of have a little control of making it ease of use based on people's needs or wants.
And so the new rates would start in April. Is that right?
The first bill, I think, February? February.
February?
well, last time I think we implemented it in
This
May,
after the first one.
so it'd be
right?
usage from February through May.
Okay.
So as long as you're okay with it, I'd like to move forward with that.
Yeah, it would be the Christmas lights we didn't put up this year.
Go for it. And Chris is gonna tell those people in town.
No,
We're giving you a new website.
yeah,
Actually, that should be something on the page is file a complaint, request information, something that comes into us daily that,
Make a donation for Christmas.
dearest Jay.
no,
People are using the website though, cause we receive a lot of online payments for the, taxes and the water.
And with,
Yeah.
with the COVID, a lot of people don't wanna come in, they don't wanna touch things, they want a receipt. they don't want it anymore, they just want paper, they'll leave it in the Dropbox and that's it. We'll call them, do you want a receipt? Nope.
The hands-off thing is
Yeah.
the way everybody's going now.
Yep.
Sounds reasonable.
Do you wanna make a motion?
I think we need a motion to
Update the-
update the website.
I'll make a motion that we update the website.
I support.
We have support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Departmental reports, DPW report.
Just kind of in winter mode now, we're pretty much as ready as we can be, and we've come to the realization we're gonna use our truck for one more year, thanks to COVID.
You just don't wanna give that truck up, do you?
It's a classic, we're gonna give Tito that for his retirement.
Are ya? Put it on a plaque.
If he gets it out the gate, it's yours. No, it's, the equipment's in pretty good shape, but yeah, we're as ready as we can be.
We have our salt,
We did get our first delivery up.
okay.
We're full to the brim, so. Yep.
Well, now that you're ready, nothing will happen.
That's fine with me, it's a good insurance policy.
Mhm.
Sit right there. We're done discharging the lagoons for the year. As mentioned, we did pave the 100 block of Spruce Street. We're done sweeping for the year. And if we get time, we'll mulch more leaves in the park. The leaves have finally came down. But as weather permits, if it don't snow, we'll be in there. So, mulch some leaves.
Is Terry still?
No.
No, okay.
What was it, a month ago, Hart?
Yeah.
Is there any other question or comments or
No.
concerns or?
The Christmas lights that are up look very nice.
They sure
They
do.
do.
Well, I mean, we're gonna try to improve a little bit of the park next year. If we get a little more electrical out front, I think that would be a pretty good bang for our buck.
Okay,
And like I said, if we can do something on the bridges, the outlying poles like on West Bell, if you really take a good look at them, I don't know if there's not a lot of symmetrical, I guess. Like you said, there'd be one here and a big gap, and there's, I don't know how you would, if you really wanted. And I don't think we wanna go back to the old days where we hung all them old decorations and get into that stuff, but I think we can do the bridges in the park,
well, we got rid of the thing that you used to store them in.
number 1920s too, I believe.
Oh, they were old.
Can you imagine the wattage on those bulbs?
Oh, man.
Not LED at all.
Well, that's the nice thing about them LEDs, you can string a lot of them together, and that makes life a lot easier, and they look a lot.
And they look nice.
They look a lot nicer. I mean, your upfront investment's a lot more, but in the end, they last longer, look nicer.
What do you do about the people that are still stacking stuff in their front yard to be picked up? The trees and stuff, the brush.
We try to inform them that they can take it out to the brush pile.
Oh, okay, cause there's another one on Woodlawn. It's like there's a new one every day.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, we put as much information on the website and Facebook, how do you,
People
Goes-
know.
Goes out with their taxes.
yeah, how much more can you do,
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
I think it's new people. I mean, houses over there are selling like crazy and
And I think people get brush pickup and yard waste mixed up. I think they really.
they do.
They don't understand that they're two separate things, so. It's hard to. I mean, we try to educate them as best we can. But the brush piles, As long as they call here, we pretty much tell them, you know,
Yeah,
go out.
well, I figure after a couple weeks, they must call and say, when are you guys gonna get this, you know? And that's when you can tell them, just run out there and throw them on there.
And some people, you know, recently have already had them bagged up, ready to go, so it's like, yeah, you can just drop them off, it's open. Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, hopefully Julie won't get any calls tonight, we are burning the brush pile tonight, so.
Hot dogs?
You better have a welding helmet. Pretty warm. It would be gone in a heartbeat.
Let's move on to the police department report.
Just wanted, I did bring this in to show this to you. This is my new vest. The weight of the stuff we put on, there's a little weight. It's probably about a quarter of the weight of my previous vest. Much lighter, much,
lighter.
yeah, and more pliable. Definitely can kind of move around and stuff in that. So that is my new vest, and I just wanted to kind of share that with you
Okay,
guys
I
real
would-
quick.
That's gonna stand up to a 45.
I would
That's
wear
gonna
it,
stand
so-
up to a 45. I have the trauma plate, which is not in the front of that right now, that would stand up to an AR round actually in that front pocket if I need it to. So, but it's just way lighter.
Much
way
better
more-
than what we used to have 30 years ago.
Right, oh, yeah, it's just not, of course, that's the ladies' cut vest, so it's got a little bit different kind of
Yeah.
form and shape to it
Yeah,
than
a little different
Ethan's,
shape
but.
than mine would.
But nonetheless, yeah, it's just wonderful. We're thankful. Like I said, mine was 1998 was the one that I was wearing, so it was well past time. But so these are wonderful. Ethan's too. You don't even know you got it on compared to what they were. So I just wanted to share that so you could see them at least.
We're very happy that you like them.
Yeah, it's
'Cause I would wear one.
wonderful.
Yes, you would if you were out there.
Yeah, it depends
I
on
would
what
be
you're
out
gonna do.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the weight of everything that we wear is significant, so
Yeah.
that's just a delight to have, so we definitely appreciate this.
You know what's ironic, 30 years ago though, you know, it wasn't even mandatory that you wore one.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing about it. And you know what, hardly anybody ever got shot. And nowadays, it's mandatory you have one to live.
Yeah,
I don't
to
remember
work.
anybody ever getting shot, okay?
Huh?
Well, I'm hoping the other thing,
I don't mean here, I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
just quick change of subject, the Christmas lights thing that we did it last year, we're doing it again this year. Oh, I forgot my guys. We're doing the Christmas light contest. So as I thought about all the lighting issues, I'm hoping over the next couple of years that this becomes a little bigger and a little bigger. We heard a little bit last year, kind of got some feedback this year, people are using music in their front yard to match their lights and everything, so maybe if people start decorating their homes, we'll add a little bit to that light. I truly do love to drive through the village at night and just see everything lit up. It just brings a little of that childlike anticipation and excitement back, so, we do have the contest. I had it, last year it was a little later, this year we wanted it to coincide with the tree lighting and the parade, so the 15th is when we're giving out, prizes for that. We've got these police officer nutcrackers that are about this big, so they're gonna be a neat prize, and some Mary's cookies, so we're gonna feed
Okay.
sweets to that too, we're gonna add a little fun. Nothing real major, but just to encourage people to get the lights out, and we just have such a positive feedback from that. It surprises me how people just connect with that. And I think if I enjoy it that much, I'm sure, people in the village do, so. That's it on my part.
Okay.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
No, but I see we got a white car.
We did. We did. It was humorous. I said to him, well, I ordered a car, and he goes, I got a phone call, and I said, okay. Yeah, we enjoy it. It's kind of our joke in the department. We all drive white cars. My car's white, his
My
car's
car's
white.
white.
Yeah, her car's white, Marguerite's car is white.
Dwight?
Your car's white too?
And so, yeah, so
Her
the
car's
patrol
white.
car's being
Isn't your
white.
car white?
Yeah, see, so the patrol car's being white just happens to stay with it, so we
Well, it
didn't
just
wanna
kinda
rock too many.
camouflages it, everything, nobody knows if you're here or gone.
Well, no, they do, they know, they know when we're not here. So, but yeah, so we did they get that ordered and in white. I know the initial one said black, the color at that point wasn't a discussion, but, end of February is when he's thinking that will be in, so.
Okay.
Let's see.
Actually, I got a
I was
question for
afraid he
you.
was gonna look like Federspiel
So,
there for a while.
I know that, being in the school, that Mr. Decker talked about, increased police presence around the school district. Do you guys have a way of how that's gonna be planned out or organized, that you guys are gonna be more like visible within the district? At least that's what we're told. Were you guys briefed about
Yeah.
that at all?
Yeah, he called me, I spoke briefly with Hart about it, after the incident in Oxford. A lot of schools south of us actually closed. Copycat behavior, copycat terminology, kids saying things, posting things, it's pretty common after a significant incident. And we saw enough of that for 2 days after the Oxford incident that Mr. Decker called and said, we want an SRO in the school immediately. We'll pay half.
Can
And
I ask you
said-
how many times we've asked to do that deal?
So,
7.
so
Okay.
so I said, well, okay, he goes, I want part-timer in and I want him, immediately, and I said, all right, I hear you, let's just sit down and kinda not overreact to this, we don't have a, agreement with the school or anything at this point, so that takes a little bit of a process to do. Looks like we're trying to get a couple part-timers in, I'm very excited. We're going through the background process with 2 right now, and, so thankfully, we're seeing, people come this way. We're, anticipating a good staff in the next 6 months to see it get in. The liaison position through, a trust, or not a trust, I'm sorry, through the grant would be a federal thing. If we don't put a full-timer in now, then we're still okay to do that. I don't see us jumping in right now and putting a part-timer in the school. Lots of reasons that's just not gonna happen immediately. We're gonna create a plan with the school. I know there's a series of, the day starts this time, the bell at this time, and the bell at this time. So we wanna get a schedule of the school and see what we can do to kinda create, an availability to be around for the school. If we're not on calls, especially now in the winter, it's gonna be a little less hectic for us. We can be maybe popping in a little bit more, with the anticipation of, all right, what can we prepare for next year?
Right.
And so that's gonna be my main focus. We're gonna be able to do something to be a little more visible in the daytime in the school. It's been, there's been disagreements about that. In the school, they don't really want cops around. We've been asked several times when we go on calls there, don't bring your cop car, don't come in uniform.
Is that coming from administration or from actual teachers?
No, that's coming from administration.
Okay.
So we ran into that a few times where we'd go to calls to school and we would dress down and kind of go in a POV, a white car, not necessarily a police car. In response to that, we don't necessarily like that. We don't want kids to think because we're there, it's a problem.
Right.
There's just times that we're there. We have, a lot of things that we do for situations, for the daycare in the school and other things that we're involved with, that we're just gonna be there. And, we just don't want it to look like there's something wrong. And
Well-
that's another reactionary part of
Sure.
what you had said. Like, I don't want us all of a sudden all the time be there now and have it be a reactionary response to that Oxford.
Well, I'll say this though, as teachers, on behalf of the teachers, because we do talk and you are welcomed in our school as far as teachers are concerned though, just let you know.
I appreciate
They'd
it.
be a
And-
welcome presence.
Yeah, and and we understand the value of being there, that it's got nothing to do with stopping crime.
Right.
It's about connecting, building those relationships, giving people an opportunity to communicate with us in a way that they're comfortable, students or staff. So those things are important to us on this end as well. I think it's a good opening, so we won't.
I think it's a good opening
I
we
think
need
it's
to
a
take.
good, it's the only
Yes.
opening we've ever
It's the
had.
only one
Yeah.
we've had, no, we need to take it now and start being there now, so people can, why are they, oh, they're just there for our kids, it's just
Right.
safety. It's not a, don't let a, you know,
I really liked it when they used to come into the ball games at night.
Yeah.
Not stay, just come
walk
in,
around, yeah.
walk around, talk to some of the kids, talk to some of the adults.
Yeah,
And
and
I
when,
always thought that was really nice.
yeah, and when we get a few more staff, that,
Yeah.
that will also allow for that. The importance of having people that live close to the village, that are part of the village is another part of that we're actually going to be able to address with the next two people that we hire. So we are putting together a plan. I've been kind of working on that. I've got to sit down with Mr. Decker and answer to your question. And I'll put something out. I'll share something with him that he can share kind of what it looks like, maybe for you guys. And if the staff has thoughts, if you have ideas, if somebody wants to bounce something off us, then by all means, let me know.
Sure.
Isn't Mr. Decker done like in 2 weeks?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interims would be Mr. Benson and, Ms. Traver, I believe, Ms. Traver Schultz.
And I don't know what their response to that is gonna be. I don't know if
Right.
they feel the same way that Mr. Decker does, so,
You
That's the-
probably should get something together with the three of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let Decker air what he thinks and let them pick it up and you carry it on.
yeah.
And I know, from conversations with Mr. Decker, he is looking at that transition period, and he does want, I think, all three of them to come together for many different things, and I think that'd be a good one to include.
So, absolutely.
Thanks.
Is there still a sheriff's substation out of the high school, or what? What's going on with that?
There is a substation for the sheriff's department there. It's actually in the gym or the community center part. They want nothing to do with the school. They won't walk the halls. They don't
Are
stick
It's a
around.
parking lot for them,
Yeah,
that's all it is. We've never seen a county police
No,
officer
yeah.
walking.
they don't have any, they don't have interest, I don't think, in pursuing that, and they have a much broader area, and how their staffing now is significantly lower, so there's just no availability for them, so.
But we still pay the millage as village residents and hardly get anything out of the county. That's just my 2 cents.
Save it for public comment.
And we feel that, yeah, we feel that, you know,
That's another.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, we agree.
Thank you, Julie. There's no further questions, let's move on to building inspector report. Let's say we still have our, 4 items on there yet.
Yeah.
Hey, the Flint Street one.
Clean
That
by
front
owner.
yard is cleaned up.
Yeah, it's all
Just don't look in the
piled up
back.
in the back.
Yeah, don't look in the back, but that front
Scott, are you
yard.
there?
And the school bit stays that way, but
It won't.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Flint Street, huh?
Yeah, he's gotta put up a fence and hidden everything behind it, more or less.
Shower curtains the same.
Yeah, he does.
The son next door has actually pulled a permit for electrical and building for rooftop solar array.
I see that.
See that under the permit.
Yeah, what's the thought there, do you know? Or the plans?
Well, I know the son and father are not getting along, so I'm hoping he's not gonna try and provide electricity to the father next door. But I'll be keeping an eye on that. I'm hoping to get into 626 when, the electrical inspection gets done. so I can get a look at the inside. I have not gotten inside 632. I'm hearing it's unsanitary.
But that's one of those
We
you
really
have,
don't have a, how does it go? Pardon me?
that's one of those where you have to be invited inside to see it to do anything about it, correct? It's not just hearsay.
Yes, and yes, exactly. I've got to be able to gain access.
Legally.
So I need I need reason to be in there legitimately
Right.
from a building standpoint.
Okay, I went by 626, this is Chris, yesterday, and there's trees cut down. Is that for the solar?
Trees cut down at 626, is that for the solar?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. He needed this clear, airspace, so.
Yeah, it's next door to
sunlight
the
could
net.
get to the signal.
This used to be Van Wormer's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Quit faking it.
Any other questions of Scott? We're gonna have to put him to bed now.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep, thank you.
Public comment, anybody have any public comment? Anything come up this week yet?
No, not yet. Give me time, I'm sure I'll come up with something.
We appreciate having you here.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. You know, doing all that you guys have done and that, so far, and that, like I said at, the other meeting, this is gonna be my forever home. When they move me out of here, there's gonna be feet first out of that house. And I'm hoping to try and clean up the yard a little bit better over there.
Is that because Scott's on the phone?
No, I just wish my neighbor across the
Oh.
street would do something with his yard.
What's that
Oh, what's
address?
that address?
What's that address? Formal complaint, got it.
That's the only thing, that's the only house on the whole block, of course, there's only 4 houses on Oak Street anyway, so.
Oh, you're on Oak Street.
Yes, I bought
East
the
or
old
west?
I bought the old Mendek, house.
Oh, Mary Mendick's house.
Yes.
Okay. It's a nice place by the river.
Yes, it is, we like it. I'm trying to clean up some of the ditch back there, I see a lot of branches fell in the storm ditch back there, and I've been pulling some out and they're piled up. I just gotta try and drag them out to my truck to take them.
To the brush pile?
Yeah, to the brush pile, but that's gonna be a couple of trips on my truck.
Oh, if there's no further public comment, how about adjournment?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll support.
Support? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, everyone.
Motion's carried.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, everybody.